Hey, it's High Tech Dad, and today we're going to be using the iFixit guide to install a new replacement battery in the iPhone 4S. So here's my iPhone 4S, there's the replacement battery, thanks iFixit.com, and we're going to walk through this process and see how quickly we can do this. So here are the tools I'm going to be using. This is a Phillips head. I think it's a 00 screwdriver. Some of the newer iPhones actually have a proprietary screw on the end there, so you can get from iFixit an actual, I think it's called a pentalobe screwdriver that will take out the proprietary screws. We have a couple of spudgers here, metal one and a plastic one, and obviously the battery. And this is something that I love using whenever I take apart things. This is a egg carton that I've labeled with, and this is where you can put all the different screws in that you take out as you use the iFixit guide. So each time you go through, there are screws you remove, you put them in the egg carton, and it's a lot easier to do. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that you have to do obviously is power down your iPhone. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to remove some of the screws from the bottom. So we'll wait till it powers down. Okay, so now that we've powered off the iPhone, what we're going to do is we're going to remove these two screws that are right in here. Okay, so we're gonna undo these screws right here. Sorry about the focus, my camera isn't very happy about being this close. So here we go. First screw, take it off. We'll store it in the first container. And then we'll do that with the next one. Some people wanted to see all this stuff live. I usually take this stuff out and then do a picture of what's going on, but we're going to actually try and walk through this live now. So you got the two screws out there. Again, sorry about the focus. Let's see if we can zoom out there. So then the next step, according to the iFixit guide, is to simply push this rear panel forward to the top. It's going to move just a little bit. So I just did that. You see it opened it up right there, so I'm going to slide it back, show you. So ready? Open like that. And then what you can do once you have that is you actually can open up the iPhone. So here we go. And that's the back off. So here you can see that big thing right there that takes up most of the iPhone, that's actually the battery. So that's what we're going to be replacing right now. Okay, I had to stop the video just so that I could get all this stuff out here. So this is the back, we're going to put that aside. This is the new battery and the old battery. And basically what we're going to do at this step, and this is pretty easy, we're almost done, believe it or not, is we are going to remove just a couple of little screws here. So the screws that we're going to remove, let's see if we can zoom in here, is this one here and this one here. And they are different sizes, so be sure that you take out the proper one and store it in the proper place. So we're going to do that right now. So let's see if I can get in here and just do that stuff. So first we're going to remove this one. It's kind of hard to see it from far away. And you get it out. Sometimes it helps having some tweezers to pull it out, and I'm going to store it in my egg carton. And then we're going to remove this one right here. Okay. And we're going to take this one out as well and put that in the egg carton. So now you can see that these two screws have been removed, and the next step is to use one of these spudgers or plastic opening things, and we're going to pry up this little connector right here. So we're going to do that in just a second. Okay, so we're going to slowly and carefully pop this connector. So what we're doing is we're basically, let's see if I could slide this up so everyone can see it. This is the new battery here. We're basically popping up this little piece off of the old battery. So you have to just be very careful because there are lots of little pieces in here. And there we go. So we got that up. Then the next step is actually to pry up the battery itself. Now there's some adhesive on the back side of the battery that holds it down. So sometimes this takes a little bit of effort, but I'm going to slowly work my way along and try and pry it up. It does take a little bit of work, and you don't want to damage anything. Okay, so like I was saying, sometimes these little things break, so the end of my spudger broke, so I'm going to use another one or use a metal one that I have here. But basically what you want to do is pry up the sides here, and then you can use this little thing that's attached underneath the battery to pop it up. So let's see if the adhesive is it's pretty strong, so it's bending my plastic one. So I'm going to move over to a metal one and just very carefully, there we go. So I recommend the metal one if you have one. And then we'll try a little bit on the other side. Let's see if it'll lift up yet. Nope. You really want to do this very delicately. We almost have it. There we go. Okay, so there's the old battery. We've got it out, and we're going to put it aside and put in the new one. So here's the new one. We're just popping it back down in place here. And all that we have to do is just attach this little bit right here and put the screws in, and we're pretty much done. It's that simple. So let's be sure that everything's in place here and it's lining up properly. So here we go. Sometimes it's a little hard to see. Alright, so this snaps right in, and then we have to go and get our different screws, and what we have to do is put them back in the same way that we did it before. So, but just in reverse. So I'm going to take one of the really small ones that was up at the top and try and put it in. This is where it's sometimes helpful if you have a magnetic screwdriver or something like that, because these screws are so incredibly small. It's really hard to put them in sometimes. Sometimes I'll put them, just hold them with my finger, and we'll hold it and put it right in to the top. I didn't quite get it that time. So let's see if I can. Also helps if you don't drink a lot of coffee. There we go. So we got that one lined up. I'm just going to screw that in. Oh, and something just popped off. So we're going to take a time out here and take a look at what little black clip popped off. So you probably saw in that last video that something popped off, and it's this little black clip, and it was connected down in there. So I need to actually take off that screw and put the screw, that little black connector, back into right about here, so that it's properly aligned. So you got to watch for all the little parts. Okay, so I had to do a little bit of research to figure out what direction this little grounding piece has to go. So basically this is the direction you want to have it. The black side is up, and you want it to go in. Let's see if I can zoom in here a little bit. Yep, it's not zooming. Alright, so you want to have it go actually right on the top up there. So let me point to it. So basically it's going to be the way it was positioned, but up on the top there. So the black's facing up, and then we'll put it in right there. So I'm actually going to go and try and do this from the other side. Hopefully it'll work. So then once you get it in there, and this is a little tricky, we're going to put it right on top there. Be sure that you don't lose this stuff. I usually do all my work over on a towel so that everything's padded and soft. So then what we're going to do is try and position it and snap that piece back in so that we can put the screws on. So there we go. And that piece, you can see it's sitting right there. And if you line it up properly, you'll see that the screw will go right down into there. So I'm going to grab the screw, which is tiny like we said, and I'm going to try and put it right there, and then I'm going to screw it in. This is where I'm glad I didn't have too much coffee today. This is pretty up. So I popped that little thing out again. You can see how delicate all this stuff is. So I'm going to try and do it this way. So there's the screw and the little ground thing, and hopefully I can line them up. Alright, so that's in, and the little ground thing isn't moving. So now we can go and grab the next screw, and we're going to put that screw right in there. And I'm just going to check to be sure. Yep, that all looks good. So then I'm going to screw that in right there. So we got that down, and that's pretty much the hard part. So you just make sure everything's flat, and then we're going to be putting the back of the iPhone back on. So remember, it was just flattening it down, pop it in, and then we're going to simply put in those last two screws at the bottom there. So just make sure that you screw those in. So let's see. Gonna grab those screws and have them available. There's one. Let's see. There's one. There's the other one. So Apple has definitely made this a lot easier than with the 3GS, which you can see me doing that battery install video on my YouTube channel, which is shown on the screen here. So we're basically gonna try and put these guys in. Usually it's a little bit easier if I don't have to film it, but since I'm trying to film it for you guys, it's a little bit harder. So no, I'm gonna have to pick it up, but just you put the screws into this area here, and it should be pretty easy to do. So let's see, I'll try it this way. There's one. Yeah, so anyway, Apple's made it a lot easier with the iPhone 4S. So here's the last one. Normally you could probably do this in about 15 minutes or less if you really walk through the steps carefully and know what you're doing. This is the first time I had done it with the iPhone 4S. I've done it with the 4 and the 3GS, and that's pretty much it. So we got it there. So anyway, let's power it on and see if this works. So I turned on the power. Looks like the apple's coming up, which is a good sign. And if you guys have any questions about how this is done, you can ask me on Twitter, and I'm at HighTechDad, or you can visit my website, which is www.hightechdad.com, or you can ask me on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/HTDblog. Anyway, it's taken a while to boot up, but I'm pretty sure everything's going to be good. If it wasn't put in right, I don't think it would start up. And there it is, all booted up. Thanks for watching.